All right, it's about time to rock and roll. We are going to have a good old time. Okay, everybody, how are we doing? How's it going? Can everybody hear me okay? Am I coming through okay to everybody? Is everything coming through smoothly? Let me know how I'm sounding, folks. That's what I need to know. I need to know how I'm sounding. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do I sound? How do I look? Can you hear the background music? That's my question. It's not too loud. Sorry, I had the mic muted. No, your laptop's not broken. My mic is muted. I was just messing with things here. Yes, the headline said headline. Don't ever assume that I'm good at this. I'm actually quite terrible at it. But I will do everything I can to try and convince people otherwise that I'm not, in fact, Garbo at this. Yes, I have an emote wall. Let's hear those emotes. Can everybody hear me coming through now? Everybody on Twitch, hear me okay? Everybody on YouTube, hear me okay? The approximately nobody on Facebook watching, can they hear me okay? All right. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I was hoping to have a little fun. We'll go over some news, and I don't know, I might find something political to lecture us about. But I was going to go over a few headlines. Yeah, Nisa, if you want to hit up Facebook and let me know how that looks and sounds, that'd be cool. You don't have to stay there. I mean, Facebook is a garbage hell site, but if you want to take a peek at it, I'd appreciate it. Right, so let's get started. I think first of all, what would help us more than anything is a little bit of context. I think that would help us. So I'm going to see if I can't get us some context. Let's see how this looks. All right, cool. So, hey, welcome back, Nathan King. It is rather complex, but once you get it all set up, streaming's not quite so horrible. White folks are, in fact, mad. White folks mad. White folks mad. Damn it. The headline thing again. Jesus Christ almighty. I'm an amateur. Switch to Twitch. Hey, welcome to Twitch, Tenderizer. Good to see you. Make sure to give me a follow, friend. All right, so for those who were asking, to mauld. Maulding is a condition originating from what the fuck? From Uganda, where the patient zero was found circa 1990. Characterized by a victim's baldness, lack of skill, and anger issues. Subjects of the condition are also said to have decorated their room with self-portraits and paintings of things that make them feel uneasy. So mauled. So bald. Yeah. So, mauled. When a bald man doesn't get his mount in World of Warcraft, he may shout a phrase, showing that the mauled phase has begun. Ah, man. Mauled, to use the slangit.com, mauled means mad and bald. Twitch users, wouldn't know any of them, like to use the term mauled to poke fun at bald or balding streamers when they get angry at a game they're playing. Apparently it first appeared on Urban Dictionary in 2011. So, oh, flax. Oh, no. You thought I was being serious. Okay. No. I am serious that white folks are mad, but maulding is just internet garbage slang. That's all it is. It's just internet garbage slang. So let's get to the headlines, shall we? So right now, the first thing that we have coming up is apparently President Biden announced a bipartisan infrastructure agreement with meeting with a group of senators from both parties. Now, the problem with this right out the gate is that to meet an infrastructure agreement, it meant compromising with Republicans. And compromising with Republicans means missing out on the shit that we need to do the most. Right? We'll get to Miami. I'm kind of new to that news as well, so we're going to learn about it together. Yep, Giuliani losing his license. We'll cover that as well. I thought that was funny. So apparently there have been weeks of negotiations. Biden called for $2 trillion in new spending. Now, fun fact, infrastructure is actually important. There's a lot of things in the United States that is kind of covered under a veneer of working and functionality, when in fact it is broken and in a serious state of disrepair, So if we go to, for instance, nope, not that one. Basically, Biden is, one of the things he's talked about is fixing the broken bridges in America, which is somewhat of a noble goal, because right now a lot of experts are saying there are 35,000 of the nation's smallest bridges that are in need of repairs. A number of those are in need of serious repairs. If you look at this just article that NBC News ran, Biden's plan is only looking to repair 10,000 of the nation's smaller bridges. So we have thousands of bridges that are literally on basically their last days. These are bridges that can quite possibly be nearing a failure point, basically where these bridges could collapse. They could suffer catastrophic damage. Bridges here in my own hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, are falling apart. We have one bridge that had to be closed, and it's almost 2 months now that this bridge has been shut down because it's in such terrible shape. And we've been saying for years that we need that bridge to get fixed. It literally is one of the bridges that connects the metropolitan area of Cincinnati to northern Kentucky over the Ohio River. We have to have a bridge. This is not an example of something we can drive around. There is a river. There's a river that borders our two states. We have to have a bridge. It is similar in Pennsylvania. So if you look here on this map, it says in a state of disrepair. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, yep, there we go. So more than 35,000 rural bridges have received low marks in the latest bridge inspection. Now notice, red zones are poor status. And if you look here, you see the concentration of red zones. This is where you start getting outside of like the Midwest megalopolis and off of the coast. Basically, the further you get a little bit inland, away from the major population centers, and these bridges start showing an awful lot of red. And that's a big deal. So I'm going to try to zoom in on this graphic to show you what I mean here. This is actually something that people should care about. So remember, as I zoom in on this, remember that red means poor. It's in poor condition. It's been graded poor condition by the federal government. So as we zoom in here, I want to go to my state. I want to go to Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's go there. Yep. And you can see even here in Cincinnati, as we go here to Cincinnati and we look at our bridges here, right? We have red rural bridges everywhere. Everywhere. There's a lot of rivers in this part of the country. And yeah, just like you said, Individual M, they would love it if they could just let these things fall apart and then sell off contracts to their cronies and private construction firms to fix it. You know, the article here mentions the Route 1011 bridge in Greene County, Pennsylvania. It's a 70-year-old bridge, and the damage is so bad that it has weight limits imposed on it now. Apparently in Pennsylvania, there are more than 2,000 bridges in a graded poor shape. So this is a pretty serious matter. So this is why infrastructure, you know, if we're going to have a state and we're going to be collecting taxes from the nation as a whole, infrastructure is pretty damn important. Back in 2018 in Mississippi, the state of Mississippi had to close 500 bridges because they were aging. They had splintered supports. They had cracked concrete. Most of the country's bridges were built after Dwight Eisenhower initiated the interstate highway system in 1956. So the problem is, just like everything that the Democrats managed to push through, and a lot of this problem, yeah, weight limits are a guess, Violet Orchid. And a lot of these problems come from the fact that we are constantly trying to negotiate with conservatives. We're always trying to stay bipartisan, and that's a terrible idea, because this is what happens. His plan is only slated to help 10,000 bridges when we have 3 times that much. Hey. Was that a super? I didn't see a thing pop up. Lies. Thank you for the $10 super. I appreciate the love. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Very, very much appreciate it. So, and I'm not going to talk too much about what the administration is doing aside from failing upward. There is a delay on that. All right, such a delay. I am aware of the building, Uncle Ruxus. We're going to learn about that together. Yeah, it is educated guesses as well, the weight limits, because, I don't know that much about engineering, but I know like the as-built are probably long gone and immensely out of date, if they even have them for a lot of these bridges. Some of these bridges are 70 years old or older. The as-built are way out of date and inaccurate, right? And then they're only taking a guess on the amount of traffic, especially rural bridges where there's inconsistent usage of the bridge. They're guessing on the traffic. So yeah, the weight limit is an absolute educated guess. And it's just another sign that you cannot expect the federal government to actually give a shit about you and your safety. They don't, and they won't. We can try to pressure them, but as you can see, this is a very clear sign of their failures to protect something that shouldn't even be a partisan issue. Every state of the union has bridges. Every state has rural bridges. Every constituency has places that they need to maintain so that they can take care of their constituents and provide safe means of travel for their constituents. And yet, this shouldn't even be a partisan issue. This should be something that everybody wants. Right? We always find bipartisan support for things like more and more defense spending. No matter what, we always ram through some massive bloated defense bill in the discretionary budget, but we can't eke together enough money to fix our damn bridges. Like, people could die from this. It's insane. All right. I've heard some people mentioning it. I have... just because I tend to take a little time before I start reading about tragedies. But apparently a building collapsed in Miami, so we're going to look at that. And we'll learn about that together. Let's see here. Seems like a big deal. Definitely hoping for the best for the victims and the survivors. Hope that they will find the people... Hope they will find the survivors for the people who are missing. Right? Just change the subject here. All right. I'm going to read an article on this because we're learning about this together. I haven't read anything about this. So we're going to learn about it together. Let's see here. I'll do the Miami-Dade building collapse. I'll do the CNN article. So what we have here right now, search continues into the night. This was updated about 30 minutes ago. So this is a pretty accurate story so far, or at least a pretty up-to-date story. 100 people unaccounted for in a building collapse. Let's mute that. So, let's see. 100 people unaccounted for. Intense search and rescue effort going on right now. Jesus. Hold on. I want to get... What in the hell happened? Did the mouth of hell open up? Good God. That is brutal. That is brutal. So they've got one confirmed dead, but we've got 99 unaccounted for. Apparently it was a condominium. This collapsed early Thursday, in the South Florida town of Surfside in Miami-Dade County. 55 of 136 units at the Champlain Tower South collapsed around 1:30 a.m. Huge piles of rubble and materials dangling from what remained of the structure. 99 people are unaccounted for as of this afternoon. One is confirmed to have died because of the collapse. A total of 102 people have been accounted for. 2 have been pulled from the rubble. No word on their conditions. 1 boy was pulled from the debris alive, and rescuers are getting people out of the still standing portions of the building using a lift bucket from a fire truck's ladder. Supposedly, they believe they have an individual stuck in the parking garage area underneath the rubble. And they're having difficulty getting to that person. 35 additional people have been pulled from the standing parts of the building. Apparently a video shows sections of the building coming down. Surveillance video. See if we can find that. We'll get the sound here.
Partially collapsed this morning, just a few miles north of Miami Beach.
This is very sad when you're dealing with people that don't know the outcome of their...
The building has literally pancaked. The problem is the building has literally pancaked.
Resources immediately.
About 55 of the building's 136 units collapsed, sending up a thick dust cloud and leaving
of dust and rubble, and there was nothing there. It was
an arm sticking out of the wreckage, and he was.
Apparently, city officials did know something about that. That is correct. DNB. Supposedly, there were records about the structural status of this building and some of the issues that it was having. We'll look at I want to look at the New York Times article, see if that one's any better. I want to know what the investigation is pulling up already, you know, because there's definitely going to be some kind of inquest into this. 12-story tower, beachside building, built in 1981. Jeez, let's look at tore the side off the building. The building had been about to undergo extensive repairs, like you had mentioned. The rusted steel and damaged concrete. The repairs had been scheduled as part of a review and recertification process for 40-year-old buildings. The lawyer involved with the renovation project has said that he has not seen anything to suggest that the collapse had anything to do with the issues identified in the engineering review, and that any waterfront building of that age would have some level of corrosion and concrete deterioration. They are still looking for survivors. They've only got 1 confirmed death. So there are people missing. They know they have some people who are still trapped. Apparently it was a robust Jewish community, according to this, and has several families from South America. So many Jewish people and South American residents were reported among the missing. Apparently the center portion of the building came down first, and then the east structure fell, and this is the collapsed section. So the south end of the towers is still standing. If you know anybody who was if you have any relatives or friends who were residents at the Champlain Tower South building, I believe all of the news sites are taking names and trying to get people connected to known survivors and people who they've identified so far. So if you're able to help the rescue efforts, please, 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 please do so. Please do so. All right. Somebody was saying something that happened in D.C. recently as well. Let's look that up. Okay, so apparently in the small hours of the morning, I guess there was a pedestrian bridge likely struck by at least one vehicle. Pedestrian bridge lightly struck by one vehicle, most likely, they're uncertain at this time, did collapse in Washington, D.C., also in the small hours of the morning on today, Thursday, June 24th. So let's take a look here at the article. If I can pull it up. So, collapsed onto Interstate 295 in Washington, D.C., injuring several people and blocking the highway in both directions. Apparently, a collision involving multiple vehicles occurred 10 minutes before noon, and it knocked the bridge off of its moorings. 5 people taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Oh, you got video of the collapse? Oh, good. I didn't want to have to look for the video, but I'll see if I can... see here. I have to make sure there's nothing copyrighted in it or graphic in it, so bear with me for a second. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Yeah, so I guess this is the captured video of the building collapse in Miami. See here. Don't know if there's sound. I will turn that down. And now it doesn't want to play. Of course it doesn't want to play. Oh, I hate computers. I really hate computers. I don't know why I do crap with computers, but I really hate computers. I just played it, and I just paused it, and then it decides to not work. Okay. There we go. It's playing. No sound. CCTV. You can see that we have a fall and a fall. Now, I don't know if any of you listen to the Well, There's Your Problem podcast. They talk about engineering disasters a lot. And they've even looked at it and tried to head off a lot of idiots with their conspiracy theories. Justin Rosniak in the Well, There's Your Problem podcast has already come out and said this is not a controlled demolition. A lot of people can't put their finger on what specifically caused the catalyst of the collapse, but it doesn't show any signs of controlled demolition. So if you hear anybody doing that, you just need to give them a solid smack in the teeth in Roblox or Minecraft. Anarcho-primitivism. No, I only jest. I only jest. I could not get rid of my precious computers. I love my computer. So back to the pedestrian bridge collapse. Collapsed at Kenilworth Avenue before Polk Street. Don't have any structural concerns about the bridge. It was inspected in February. Yeah, that's pretty wild right there. Yikes. Bridge. But last month, a inspection report concluded that the bridge was a rating of poor condition. Level 4. Wouldn't you know it? A bridge right there in the backyard of Biden, who's celebrating his infrastructure plan, has a poor rating and just collapsed right across the street. Horrible. Mangled concrete and metal debris was sprawled across 6 lanes of highway. Hazmat unit was on scene mitigating a diesel leak from a truck that was partially beneath the bridge. Does not appear to be any major injuries from the event. So that is the good news about what happened in DC. So there you go. Let me hit up the headlines here, and we'll see what comes next. Okay, so we already talked about we already talked about how Democrats are fooling around, basically fighting with themselves over this fucking bills that they're trying to get through. Right now, Biden's trying to work on this bipartisan spending deal, and he's claiming he's not going to do so without the infrastructure wish list of the Democratic Party. So they are still trying to attack voting rights in this country, and Lord knows I don't care that much about electoralism, but right now the Secretary of State in Kansas needs the approval of a legislative committee to settle election-related lawsuits. In Arkansas, apparently, new law empowers states' elections commissions to investigate every aspect of an election without limitation. And in the key battleground state of Arizona, Republican legislators this week moved to weaken the authority of the Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, by limiting her ability to defend election lawsuits. Apparently, federal election legislation has been stalled in the U.S. Senate thanks to a fucking turd wrangler by the name of, oh God, I just blanked. What is that guy's name? The dude in the Senate, Manchin, fucking Joe Manchin. Yeah, utter piece of shit. And there's a bunch of provisions right now coming out in different states that would allow Republican-led states to seize power from the officials who oversee the elections, right? This is basically the conservatives in this country are panicking. I don't know why they're panicking, but the conservatives in this country are panicking for some reason because Biden's in office and a bunch of libs have taken control of the Senate and the House. They know goddamn well that Republicans don't use their power when they have it at their disposal. I don't even know what they're afraid of, because Democrats are kind of shit. But apparently, conservatives are scrambling. That is not good enough even in their massively gerrymandered districts. Right? So they are pushing all these provisions to try and take voting rights away from marginalized people. And the House attempted to rectify this with federal voting legislation, something that there's actually surprisingly little of. The states pretty much handle all of the legislation regarding voting laws. Right? But they're trying to pass some federal protections for voting rights, and it's being held up in the Senate. And so conservatives are scrambling. They're going full mask off, doing everything they can to ram things through and pull power away from the election committees and from the polling board officers who normally run these sorts of things. It's pretty blatant what they're trying to do. Wait, why did I do that? I wasn't talking about that. So it's pretty blatant what they're trying to do. Yeah, no, he's a massive shit. Apparently, yeah, a coup is legal if it's local, Nisa Simpson. It's kind of malding, but we'll get to more malding later. The malding that we're going to talk about in the angry white people is going to be for something far less meaningful than anything we're talking about. And mind you, we're talking about electoralism right now, so that's not that meaningful. But the white people malding is even less meaningful than this current discussion that we're having, which is fucking hilarious. It is, it's ridiculous. It really is. Because, again, I'm just wondering why they're so afraid of the current group of Democrats we have. The current group of Democrats that we have are so allergic to winning that going into the beginning of this year, they quite literally could have bought their future electoral success in the next in the next gubernatorial race, right? Or not gubernatorial, in the next congressional race, in the next midterms. They could have bought their way to success. All they had to do was pass those $2,000 checks and give people some kind of UBI to smooth the transition out of this pandemic. This would have helped them. This would have helped all the corporate interests that they kowtow to. Right? Because if people were getting some form of UBI, they would be patronizing all of those businesses out there. Right? And less of them would be inclined to quit their jobs. Right now, you see all these places, these McDonald's and Subway and whatever, complaining they don't have any workers. Yeah, because they're not paying shit. You want more workers, you need to pay people more. It's that simple. I shed no tears for entry-level businesses not having enough people. And the problem we run into is that the Democrats are so fucking weak. They can't even with House and Senate majority, right? And the White House, they can't manage to win. They can't manage to flex their power. That's the thing. Republicans aren't scared to use the power when they have it. Democrats need to, but they won't. So Trump won't shut the hell up about about a stolen election, and he wants there to be more performative audits of ballots cast last year, and every single one of these audits comes back with the same result, that he lost. And I don't even like Joe Biden, but Trump lost. That's just the reality, right? And others, they want Republican-led states to try and seize power from the election officials who are supposed to be running these election precincts. And this is and it is rightfully so. They're concerned that this is going to allow partisan meddling. The review of ballots in Maricopa County, Arizona, was authorized by Republicans in that state's Senate. Right? So basically, right now the Republicans are trying to course correct. They will do anything they possibly can. Anything they possibly can to guarantee that they don't have to address the needs of the people. They'll do anything they can to guarantee that they don't have to address the needs of the people. Anything at all. And the problem with that is it's allowed to happen, and this is something where you have to really take that time to empower your own communities, because it's getting to the point where you can't rely on your elected officials, even if they are blue, and even if the majority of your community votes blue, because the Democrats don't seem to give much of a shit about getting anything done. Now, I talked about some important stuff there. Let's see if there's anything else. Apparently, Derek Chauvin is having his sentencing hearing tomorrow, Friday. He is getting a sentencing hearing. Whoa! He will be having his sentencing hearing. And, it is true that the police who often kill, oftentimes police who kill get lenient punishments or no punishments whatsoever. And very, very few non-federal law enforcement officers, like police officers, deputy sheriffs, and state troopers, ever see any charges of murder. It just doesn't happen. It took 12 jurors 10 hours to convict Derek Chauvin of murdering George Floyd. They were guilty. He was found guilty on all counts. But this is not a guarantee that he will get a harsh punishment or a harsh sentence. Almost no officers get convicted of murder while on duty. It just doesn't happen. It's according to this statistic I'm reading, Chauvin is among only 11 non-federal law enforcement officers convicted of murder resulting from an on-duty incident since 2005. And I'll remind you, in 2020, police killed 1,100 people. They killed over 1,000 people that we know of in police-involved shootings. 11. Wait, defense asked for time served prosecution. Oh, prosecution asked for 30 years. I don't think he's going to get 30. That's just my prediction. But it could go another way. It could go the opposite way of what I'm thinking. Maybe the judge there and the prosecutor and all those people involved are going to try and make this a performative gesture by locking this dude up for a harsh sentence. The defense, they're not so stupid as to do time served, I would hope. That would be very, very dumb. And a lot of the conservative fuckwits say, oh, they're scared that people are going to riot if he's found innocent. And I'm like, well, first of all, yeah, they probably should. If we're being honest, they should be scared of that, because they should be scared of a demographic of people who are constantly getting kicked down the fucking ladder and being murdered in the streets. They should be scared of them getting tired of there being no consequences. They should be fucking afraid. They should be angry, and the people there sitting comfortable in their seats of power should be very fucking afraid. That's why, even with what happened on the 6th, I always said the one good thing that came out of the 6th of January is that politicians should be fucking afraid of the people. They should be wondering how their legislation is going to affect their constituents, and they should be worried that if they're asleep at the wheel, that if they're not doing their job, that someone's going to come kick down their damn door. Because they're an elected official. They have a constituency that they are beholden to. Their duty, constitutionally, is to serve the people who voted for them and voted them into that office. So yeah, they absolutely should be afraid. And the judges should absolutely be afraid. And the cops should absolutely be afraid. They should wonder if their actions aren't reflecting the needs of their constituency. They should be looking over their shoulder every single day. They should be afraid to walk down dark alleys. They should sleep with one eye open. They should wonder when we're going to show up knocking on their door to ask them what they're doing to help the people of their precincts, the people of their districts, the people who voted them into power, the people who put the trust of representative democracy in them. They should absolutely be afraid. And the judges should be afraid to not pass actual fair rulings in this fucked up law enforcement system that we have. The judges should be scared because they're accountable to the people too. And in many of these areas, these are elected judges. In my city, in my state, the judges are elected. All the judges where I'm at are elected judges. They run campaigns. They have campaign contributions. So yeah, no, I will maintain that was a net gain for us, at least, for people in general. I liked it anyway after January 6th that these politicians were scared. I want them to be scared. Maharaga, yes, I did hear about more fucking mass graves being found in Saskatchewan. Yeah, residential schools are their own horror story. I may not touch on that today. Lance at the Surfs has done those stories some really great justice, and he is of mixed heritage and native heritage himself. So I would recommend checking out his thoughts on that. Also, Universal Discourse on Twitch could give you a lot of great takes on that as well. I think I saw Jacob Mentor say something in chat. Mint Nerd, you hanging out with us? Anyway, You are correct, Mayuraga. You're absolutely correct. So, do I smoke blunts or joints? I do not do either. I've just had a number of jobs that are pretty serious about drug testing, and our state hasn't done full decrim. And also, pot makes me paranoid. I learned that in like my early 20s. Mitt Nerd, how's it going? Good to see you. Are you watching on YouTube? Awesome. Oh, I did not mean to dead name you. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Everybody, head over to Twitch and make sure you drop a follow for Mitt Nerd. Makes excellent music. Yes, I am not touching Delta 8, Uncle Ruxus. Not touching it. With a 10-foot pole. You understand a lot of this stuff is basically the equivalent of research chemicals. A lot of this stuff is the research chemicals of the herb world. Nisa, I don't have any bots that do that. I really need to set those up. Thank you for trying, though. Yes, go support Mitt Nerd on Twitch. Excellent music producer, great singer, very, very funny guy. Yeah, pot makes me paranoid. And I've never liked the taste, which is funny because I'll be the first to admit I used to love the taste of cigarettes, and everyone tells me cigarettes taste nasty, but I like tobacco. I mean, I've got a cigar case just off screen here. Don't trust the government, Uncle Ruxus? No, of course I don't fucking trust the government. Would you? Pay attention to what's happening. You have no reason to trust the government. Absolutely no reason whatsoever to trust the government. No, I don't trust the hemp industry, because all the hemp industry is going to become is another force under capitalism. All it's going to do is become something else, adding to the unjust hierarchy that is capitalism. The hemp industry, especially in my home state, is so fucked, it's not even funny. I'm not... Edibles became a more popular thing after I kind of got into a lot of careers where I really couldn't afford to smoke because I was so subject to drug tests. So I didn't get into edibles. I've never had an edible. Okay, so. Whoa. Jesus, I keep clicking the videos by mistake. Good God. Okay, so somebody did mention the antivirus pioneer, John McAfee, was found dead in Spanish prison. Jesus. John McAfee was once the face of cybersecurity, and then his life spiraled. Run-ins with... He made no secret of his hedonism. Wasn't this McAfee guy like a fucking freak? Tech pioneer. Became a household name. Go public 5 years later. Largest cybersecurity company in the world. Hold on. Let me switch this subject here. Yeah, with Epstein. Wait, was he one of Epstein's cronies? Was he one of Epstein's little black book regulars? Was he on the fucking Lolita Express private jet? Oh, Jesus. Along with, Bill Clinton and all them. I'm still waiting for Ghislaine Maxwell to crack. Like, I'm just waiting to hear that we're going to find her, like, dead at the bottom of a landfill one day or something. All right, so... apparently, a tailspin happened after his company went public. Seen as a cult hero of sorts on the internet, his credibility in the cybersecurity world disappeared. And apparently he had been he hadn't really been associated with the company. Hadn't been associated with the company for like 25 years. Apparently, one person said, I met McAfee in Las Vegas in 2016 at the hacker conference DEF CON, where he declined an interview, but invited me to a strip club. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. And the security company that bore his name would spend years offering near identical responses to stories about him. Though he has not been associated with our company in any capacity for 25 years. Our thoughts go to his family. He spent many of his final years chasing his appetites for drugs, guns, adventure, prostitutes, and cryptocurrency. He wasn't shy in discussing his proclivities. He was accused of sexual assault, labeled by Belizean authorities as a person of interest in an unsolved murder investigation, indicted by U.S. authorities for tax fraud. Jesus Christ. Why does every eccentric rich dude have to become fucking Gordon Gekko or goddamn Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, you have a great night, Individual M. Why do they actually feel like they need to live like these really flawed, larger-than-life characters in the movies? Like, you would think everything in Wolf of Wall Street is exaggerated. If you watch it, great movie, by the way. Love Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. But then you read shit like this, and you see these people. Is it because they're failed rock stars? Did they want to be rock stars? Low-key admire McAfee for making his suicide rival Epstein's infamy. Apparently, in a profane, drug-filled satirical video he published to YouTube in 2013, McAfee mocked both his own reputation for hedonism and the software for being slow, omnipresent, and inconvenient. He says, every time I turn on the fucking computer, it's there looking at me. Something went wrong, he says in the video, surrounded by guns and scantily clad women, his face covered in white powder. 15 years ago, I had some beautiful software and they took it over. I don't know what they did. I'm gonna find this video. Is it... Okay, chat, I need you to tell me. Is watching and laughing at this video in bad taste because the man was found dead in a prison? I need to know if that's in bad taste. I have a dark sense of humor, and I don't really give two flying fucks about capitalists. I don't give much fucks about capitalists, and I don't really care about tech daddies or tech bros. I don't like them at all. Oh my goodness, a Patreon subscriber. Thank you so much, Vibe, for helping out on the Patreon. I really appreciate you. You are amazing. Humans are naturally selfish without discipline. They need to be taxed more. I agree with that. Always laugh at dead capitalists, Mitt Nerd. Listen, Mitt Nerd, I have a headcanon where you write a ballad. Mitt Nerd, you have to do this. Write a ballad, like a send-off ballad for John McAfee and his freaky, fucked, like shithead capitalist life. I that's what I want to hear, is if you write like a piano ballad sending off this piece of shit's crazy ass life, going from tech pioneer to Spanish prisoner. That'd be funny. Let's see if I can find it. This is gonna be... Wow. Oh, somebody said he was into coprophilia. Yeah, I just saw a headline Apparently the Daily Beast, I'm just going to say the quote because I feel like I'll get demonetized if I go into detail, but someone just said, he used to make you shit in his mouth. Yeah. Do whatever you want with that. So, listen, let's have some fun laughing at this deranged lunatic. May he rot in pieces. I feel kind of dirty, but let's see a video to see if we can get into the mind. We'll see a video if we can get into the mind of John McAfee and his legacy. So let me turn down the background music here and turn this down a little bit. All right, let's see what we got here.
Fuck. Send. Oh, hello there. My name is John McAfee. I'm the founder of the McAfee Antivirus Software Company. Although I've had nothing to do with this company for over 15 years, I still get volumes of mail asking, how do I uninstall this software? I have no idea.
Totally not a scumbag move.
I really need to quit. As I said, I've had nothing to do with McAfee software for over 15 years. I've had more pressing things to do. But recent events have made me change my mind. I've had, over the years, many responses from users who are complaining about the difficulty in removing the software. I'd like to read you a few things. Holy fucking shit. I was drawing for like 5 hours straight on this marvelous drawing, and I had to do a big-ass scan that slows the shit out of my computer. It was McAfee, of course. My computer's always really fast, but that son of a bitch has to come fuck it up. Here's another. My free trial for McAfee, or however it's spelled, expired. When it expired, it blocked Pornhub. Fuck McAfee. Fuck them in their stupid faces. I hope they all get dick and cunt rot and...
So, getting some weird vibes here. I don't know. First of all, he looks terrible. Listen, kids, we don't need the anti-drug PSAs of the early 90s. We really don't. We don't need the anti-drug PSAs of the early 90s. We just need to show you what a couple decades of drug use and partying, like it's still the fucking 70s for some goddamn reason, will do to you in the form of this guy's face right here. That's all you need to see. That you need to blue screen in some fucking fancy ass library and a smoking jacket. The dude's wearing a goddamn ascot. Just putting on all of these airs of wannabe cool that he paid some poor fucking actress, struggling actress, to hang on him during a video. This is, and you can even see in the pictures, in the metadata here, that the guy is a fucking nutbag. Absolute nutbag. Like, this is beyond Richard Branson. I'm not going to watch the rest of that. It's not blood. It's lipstick from when he had these models kiss him on the face so he can act cool. I'm not going to watch this, partially because it's an ascot, but partially because I'm pretty sure it might go TOS. But also, listen, this is to bring this back, right? To bring this back a little bit. This is what capitalists think is cool. Mitnerd, wait, hold on. You have to answer me this. Mitnerd, do you can making a song like a hit piece about somebody be actionable? Especially if they're dead? Like, I figure rappers do diss tracks all the time. You know? I figure you doing a song about this dead fucking weirdo wouldn't be actionable, would it? You can't say his name? I'm curious about that. What's the estate gonna sue for? I figure you have the what is that thing? It's not the Streisand effect. It's the other one. I don't know, the small penis paradox or something. Or I don't know. You could say in the song, you can add in the song something about how he used to like to strangle puppies or something like that. Right? And then if the estate's going to claim defamation or claim that you're slandering him, they have to say that your claim about him strangling puppies is legit. You know, so they won't do that. What is his estate going to do? I'm shocked to find out if his estate has any money left. I'm surprised he didn't snort it all up his nose. He does not come off as particularly stable. It's always with the guns, too. Like, he has several videos. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, would you all... You know what? Now I feel like subjecting you all to more. Because, listen, what would be more cringe than this guy trying his hand at making viral videos? This old, drug-addled monster. Right? What would be more cringeworthy than that? What if I told you that he made a video with Alex Jones? And we're going to watch it. Oh, I have become a mad god, subjecting you all to this.
The following program was overseen by certified professionals. Do not try these stunts at home. Self-defense starts with safety. It is essential that before using a firearm, that you seek and receive professional.
It's very surreal to hear a safety disclaimer voiced by Alex Jones.
Training.
I'm Tommy Shane Steiner, and this is my brother Sid. We're Texans and Americans who support and celebrate the Second Amendment.
What is it with conservative gun guys? I will never understand why they have to be so extra. Oh, I'm gonna skip ahead here. This is stupid.
Muzzle brakes is it increases the sound coming back this way.
That's the one thing you're going to realize. It's
I know that
the
for a fact.
sound is pretty powerful.
The problem I got here is it's been a long time since I've shot a 50 caliber, and I'm sure that I'm not as good as I used to.
Okay, pause it. Do you see the level of fidgeting and twitching and body motion this guy has? Is he coked out right here? I'm seriously wondering if he's coked out right now. Because he's got a lot of excessive body motion, and I've seen plenty of people. You know, I used to work at a music venue that hosted punk and metal shows, and so I've seen how people act when they've taken a few bumps to the head, done a few bumps of blow, and he looks like he's coked out now. But let's watch. Let's watch.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to imagine my target out there, and I'll tell you whether or not I hit it in the center. Okay?
Okay.
You don't have a problem with that?
No.
Okay. Perfect. The Obamacare is the same thing, you know, right? They've imagined the the rollout as being successful, and therefore they've met their expectations.
That's right. I'm sure
I want to
every
do the same
shot-
thing with my target. I'll hit it point blank every time.
I'm sure
I
every
promise.
shot is going to be a success.
It's perfect.
That's
Perfect.
right. Get it. Nice.
I feel I should take a moment to convey to people that I'm not anti-gun. I'm extremely pro-gun ownership, especially among leftists. But I think I do not like how these weird right-wingers and right libertarians fetishize it. You think he's trying so hard to not touch his nose? Doesn't want to do the wipe. Nope. He's just like, can't do the nose wipe. Don't do the nose wipe. Don't do the nose wipe on camera. Don't do the nose wipe. Oh, God.
Well, John, you just got done shooting the 50 over there. We're going to put that on the TV show next week. But right now, you're got that 223 M4 Scorpion. You ready to try it out?
I don't even know it's here. Compared to the 50 caliber, this feels like a feather.
That's right. You just handheld shot the heavy 50 of it.
So, yeah, I have
You did a great job. All right, John McAfee, thanks for talking to us. And folks can check out your website. But you want to shoot a couple of these? All right, we'll do that next.
Okay. So that's pretty ridiculous. Oh, wait. Does he touch his nose and then jerk it away? Hold on. We'll watch that again. We'll watch that again.
So it's about like a 12 gauge.
The problem with muzzle brakes is it increases the sound coming back this way.
That's the one thing you're going to realize.
I know that
the
for a
sound
fact.
is
know
pretty
that.
powerful.
The problem I got here is it's been a long time since I've shot a 50 caliber, and I'm sure that I'm not as good as I used to be. So if you don't mind, I'm going to imagine my target out there, and I'll tell you whether or not I hit it in the center. Okay? You don't have a problem with that?
No, no, no.
Okay, perfect. The bomber carriers is the same thing, you know, right? They've imagined.
Yeah, I saw it. Had to do that quick nose wipe, but can't let the camera see it. Anyway, so this guy was found dead in a Spanish prison. I don't know if people are saying he killed himself. I don't know if he took his own life, or I don't know if he unalived himself, or if something else happened. I mean, here's the other thing, though, that you got to remember. This guy had been doing hard drugs and partying for like 3 or 4 decades. It's amazing that his heart was still functioning. At any day, his heart could have just punched a hole out of his chest. So we really... really don't know what happened to him. But apparently... he sold his company and got really, really wealthy. And he flew small aircraft, wrote several books on yoga, and developed a 280-acre yoga retreat in Colorado. He sold his estate in Colorado in 2007 and moved to Belize in the year of 2008 at the age of 63, wanting to retire there, but he would go and become accused of a serious crime. Yeah, he might have gotten Epsteined. Yeah, they do mention the documentary Gringo, The Dangerous Life of John McAfee. Former business partner accused him of drugging and sexually assaulting her in Belize. He's denied this accusation. He had a neighbor in Belize with whom he had apparently had some conflicts. And he had a neighbor in Belize with whom apparently he had some conflicts. And this neighbor wound up shot and killed. And McAfee fled the country and was found hiding in Guatemala. Hiding in Guatemala after a Vice story about him neglected to remove the location data and a published photograph of him. Guatemalan authorities arrested him and deported him to the U.S. Belize named him as a person of interest but never charged him. However, a U.S. federal judge ordered him to pay the neighbor's estate $25 million in a wrongful death suit in 2019. He ran for the Libertarian Party's 2016 nomination for president, lost, and then branded himself a Bitcoin expert and enthusiast. And he was very big. He went full into cryptocurrency, apparently. Made very, very uninformed claims and insisted that he would consume his penis on television if the price of an individual Bitcoin didn't reach 1 million by the end of 2020. Neither thing happened. And he used to claim he thought some secret cryptocurrency would soon be worth more money, trying to pump up the value of a lesser known crypto. And that's a scam. And that's what got him arrested. He was having associates buy currencies at low prices before each tweet, and then hoping his tweet would pump the value up. And hoping each tweet would pump the value up, and then they would sell it off. That's illegal, just so you know. You have to mention that if you're going to speculate on stocks, you have to disclose that you are invested in that stock. You have to tell everybody that you have a vested interest in that stock before you speculate on it in that fashion. And he did not disclose this. And he was doing this on Twitter, Twitter had started becoming a really big place for people to speculate on these stocks. See earlier this year with Elon Musk and stupid fucking Doge shit. And he was scamming. But he had a similar army of crypto enthusiasts on Twitter. The SEC cracked down on this practice. And people, McAfee encouraged his followers to harass the head of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. Yeah, DNB, he tried to make his own cryptocurrency named Ghost. McAfee's actions constituted tax evasion. And the Spanish police in 2020 arrested him on behalf of the U.S. government. And after they ruled that he could be extradited to face charges in the U.S., the same day, he was ruled on Thursday that he could be extradited to face charges in the U.S. The same day he was found dead in his cell, 4 hours later. Uncle Ruxus, I do not have a P.O. box, but if you need to send me something, I would recommend that you, let's see, where are you watching? You're watching on Twitch. So I would recommend that you check out my email, which I will link in chat, and get a hold of me there, and we'll work it out. And so, yeah, he did make that post back in 2019. Hey, what's up, Overthrow Media? How's it going? Hey, everybody, throw Overthrow Media a follow. Excellent work. Another great black comrade over there. Oh, you know, we're going to get to the white people mauling here soon. That's going to be the more fun bit. But I was just going over some news headlines. Some have also said, though, that he spent 8 months in jail in Spain, and they said that took a nasty toll on his health. So apparently his wife had been trying to his wife had been trying to advocate on his behalf for his release from a Spanish prison. But anyway, he will not be returning from Spain alive. If he was suicided, terabytes of hacked data about governments and rich people would be released to the press. Claimed he has a suicide. Listen, it's hard to say what's true and what's not true and what's legit when we're talking about claims from John McAfee, because this guy was trying his hardest to live his life like a goddamn comic book character. It's ridiculous. All right, let's see here. Okay. So, yeah, we did a little segment on McAfee or however the fuck you say his name. Hey, he's a fucking ghoul. He won't be missed. Let's talk about white people being mad. You know? Let's talk about what I really wanted to talk about today. Because all of this going on, you would think this would give people something to talk about on Twitter, but no. You want to know what first hit my Twitter timeline when I logged in yesterday or this morning? It was people mad that it wasn't a white woman who was going to be playing Snow White in the fucking Disney live-action movie. Because that's something we need to care about. That is what people are mad about. And so, let's find some tweets. I think we can find some tweets. The whole thing is so stupid, it's not even funny. But basically, an actress named Rachel Ziegler, a Hispanic actress named Rachel Ziegler, was tapped to portray Snow White in the first Disney live-action adaptation. Excuse me. First Disney live-action adaptation of Snow White. And people are crying. I don't know who she is. Apparently, she's popular. Rachel Ann Ziegler, actress, 20 years old, actress, singer, and YouTuber. Colombian and Polish descent. Raised in Jersey. She's been in musical theater for a very long time. And she received award nominations. And now she has a live-action leading role as a Disney princess just before her first film premieres. She is also going to apparently be portraying Maria in Steven Spielberg's adaptation of the West Side Story. And I guess she'll also be in the sequel of Shazam, the Shazam sequel. Yeah. A lot of people are excited. There are some shitty people out there as well who aren't very excited. And I wanted to take some time to make a few points here. So let's run down some of the recent ones, because there's been a bunch of these that people have gotten very, very, very upset about. What they get upset about, right? So let me pull up the screen here. Pull up the screen. Let me change the subject too. Okay, there we go. Let me change the subject here. Right. So, yeah, this is Rachel Ziegler. She's an attractive actress. From what I can tell, she's extremely talented, and I'm sure that she'll do a great job in the role. Yeah, you shouldn't be on 9gag, Maharaga. That is not a great place to be when it comes to mental health. So, but let's go over the ones that's making everybody mauled, because this is just a recent one. They've done a bunch of others. I guess there's a adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman that's coming to the big screen, and they don't like that the character of Death is going to be portrayed by a black woman, even though I'm pretty sure it's been established that both Death and the other person can basically take any form they want. So let's look that one up. All right, Sandman casting. That's one. We're gonna do a rundown here, right? So Kirby Howell Baptiste will be portraying Death in the live-action Sandman adaptation. And even Neil Gaiman has had to come on and fucking dunk on these idiots on Twitter, get them to shut the hell up about it. Why actress not white? Jesus Christ. So Kirby Howell Baptiste will be portraying Death. All right, so that's one. That's one, right? Halle Bailey was tapped to portray the Little Mermaid in the upcoming live-action Little Mermaid. And again, apparently she will be portraying, this is I guess a set photo here. Halle Bailey will be portraying the Little Mermaid in the live-action one. And again, people got really fucking mad. This one didn't make any sense to me, because I don't see where the skin tone of the character of the Little Mermaid is even mentioned in the source material. I really don't know its importance to the source material. So then I have to ask them, why does it have to be assumed that mermaids are white? Why does it matter? For that matter, mermaids aren't fucking real. They're fictional creatures. We made them up. Their skin could be green. And yeah, white consumer culture is ridiculous. And so, yeah, she wouldn't be white if she lives underwater to begin with. But people are mad. Fucking mad as shit. They call us snowflakes. This has been the most snowflakey bullshit I've ever seen. Getting mad over goddamn Disney movies. Why? I love to hear them cry about it too. So this is another one that I heard from recent memory. Kirby Howell Baptiste is playing Death. Halle Bailey is playing the Little Mermaid. Rachel Zegler is going to be playing Snow White. And people on Twitter are losing their minds. Hold on. I got to pull up my Twitter because this is funny to me. But I need to find the actual tweets. White people, they have to stop. Yeah, I really don't like it. I really, really don't like it when they suggest that talking about race is being divisive. And we'll get on that in a minute when we talk about critical race theory. But let's see what Twitter's. So some people... This is who Disney cast to play Snow White. So there are people now trying to quote mine Rachel Zegler to cancel her and complain about her casting choice. The funny one to me is that they're not really... Am I an atheist? Why do people keep asking me that on stream? Uncle Ruxus, why Why do people keep asking me that? Why do people keep asking me that? Yes, I am an atheist. I've said this before. What's the point of asking me that? People keep asking me that over and over. Right. So you know what? Let me see if I can share this. Copy link to tweet. I want to see if I can share this because this is funny. This is kind of, this person thinks this is an own is the funny thing. Oh Jesus, dark mode. Light mode. Bad. All right, I'm going to apologize in advance for the light mode, but I'm using a different account to browse this, so I just apologize in advance for the light mode nonsense that you're going to have to look at here. Hold on a moment. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. All right. Okay, so look here. This one person is saying, with a lot of retweets, crazy ratio. This is the person who Disney cast to play Snow White. Rachel Zegler says, cancel Jeremy Renner, calling him a transphobic racist. Yeah. Hey, Hebe. What's up? Just dunking on idiots who are mauling about the choice of the person playing Snow White. But my point is, like, they're saying, cancel Jeremy Renner, calling him a transphobic racist. Jeremy Renner is a transphobic racist. Deplatform J.K. Rowling and encourage violence towards her. I don't see where she encouraged violence towards anyone. Let's see here. I don't see where she's promoting violence against anybody. But stay mad about it, I guess. Also, yes, deplatform J.K. Rowling. Please deplatform J.K. Rowling. Do you get the CIA? Would you join the CIA? No, I wouldn't join the CIA. I want to abolish the CIA. Jesus Christ. Bullying of Gina Carano over pronouns. Yes, everybody, bully Gina Carano. Go and bully fucking Gina Carano. All right? Please bully Gina Carano because somebody needs to fucking do it. The fact that nobody's gotten in Gina Carano's oversized fucking face about being transphobic means that somebody needs to bully her. Hebe, it is not nearly as cool as catching you in my chat while I'm live. I want you to know that. Bottom of my heart, you're beautiful and valid, and I'm happy to have you here. Yes, I need you all to bully Gina Carano. Gina Carano should be bullied. Says all conservatives are racist white supremacists. I really don't see where she said that either. Denying racism exists is racist. Yeah. Just a reminder, if you're racist, I hate you. Nothing is an excuse to be racist. Y'all who are being racist are the same people who think toilet paper is going to save you right now. I will step on every homophobe. Fucking queen. Love her already. Recognize that the person in office is racist and supporting him makes you the same. Yeah. Supporting Trump makes you a fucking racist. I don't understand. So this is the first tweet I found of somebody okay. Yeah, maybe they think that's violence. I if they consider that violence, then I have said far worse on Twitter. I think that's exceptionally tame, and that person is a very poor snowflake who needs to cry more about it. Let's see here. Let's see here. You know, it looks like some of these people have deleted their tweets. I saw some really, really stupid tweets when I came. Is this an old stream or something? Or just old tweets? No, that person was just quote mining. Yeah, they were tweet mining, Alexander. All they were doing after the casting choice was announced was tweet mining the actress to try and cancel her over some really tame shit. And honestly, I agree with everything she said. I mean, to be an actress who's trying to go really super mainstream, what a lot of people don't understand is that you're really not expected to openly speak on political issues like that. Right? And so I respect the fact that she's coming out and saying, yeah, fuck the president. And fuck J.K. Rowling. And yes, fuck J.K. Rowling. Please, deplatform J.K. Rowling. Whoever's listening to this stream, if you work for Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, deplatform J.K. Rowling. Take her turf shit off your platform. Get rid of it. She sells enough books already. Yeah, so horrible that she hates racists and transphobes and racist presidents. I was trying to find. It looks like a lot of people who were really, really malding about it have had their tweets either ratioed or they've deleted them, because I'm not seeing them anymore. And it's funny because I feel like people are coming out to fucking punish them. Yeah, I don't get it. But, you know, a lot of it's performative, especially when we're talking about a corporation like Disney, which is pretty dreadful. But I'm not one of those people that's going to shit on even performative representation, because it does mean something. You got to remember, I still grew up in an era where a lot of that representation didn't exist as a kid. You know, the chances are the action movies you watched that got top billing, it was going to be some white dude with a 5 o'clock shadow, right? You know, all of the highest paid actors and actresses throughout Hollywood were all white. And Asian actors, I'm hard pressed to think of any that were really popular in my childhood outside of kung fu actors like Jet Li, Chow Yun-fat, Sammo Hung, or Jackie Chan, you know? So representation is a good thing. Representation is a very good thing. I mean, maybe we had Margaret Cho. That's about it. So that was a bit of the malding. And it makes me happy to see white people get that angry. It really does. It really makes me happy to see white people get this torn out of shape over something so simple. Because, again, 50% of my praxis is making white people very uncomfortable. Give me a moment, because I am going to touch on critical race theory a bit, but I got to get a few things together. Did you say Indian dudes would get laid more if you had better representation? Yeah, not a lot of Indian guys in acting, like, or even in just general entertainment. Like, I know of Aziz Ansari and Russell Peters, and there was that really awful TV show, sitcom called Outsourced, that was very problematic. Yeah, so Overthrow Media, you make actually a really good point. Generally speaking, for years and years, up until recently, this was a problem. There was like between 3 to 5 black men that would lock down leading roles in Hollywood that weren't explicitly written for black men, aka the black movies, right? So think about it with me, guys. So Will Smith, Denzel Washington, and Morgan Freeman were the three black men that most consistently were able to lock down roles that weren't written explicitly for black male actors for that character. Eddie Murphy usually locked down comedies, right? But even then, a lot of Eddie Murphy's work was a little more sporadic than theirs. You did have Eddie Murphy. I shouldn't leave him out, right? Will Smith, he always did the summer blockbuster action movies. He was known because he was one of the few for a long time in the late 90s and early 2000s. If you look back at some of the movies, Independence Day. Independence Day was a movie. It was originally written for a white actor, and the studio nearly pulled the whole project because they insisted on casting Will Smith in that role. The Wild Wild West, another movie Will Smith played in that was originally written for a white guy, and again, the studio nearly canned the whole project over the casting and the director not wanting to cast a white guy, but instead cast Will Smith, right? That's how serious it was. Fun fact: I'm a big fan of the movie The Matrix, made by the Wachowskis, whomst we stan. And what you should know is that there was a lot of snafus with casting the role of Neo before they settled on Keanu Reeves. They actually had a number of different people try out for the role. Initially, because at the time he was pretty popular, they wanted Jet Li to portray Neo, which fits because Neo does a lot of kung fu, and Jet Li is a masterful fighter and martial artist and very, very skilled. Well, Overthrow, there's a reason he went with Wild Wild West. I'm getting to that. Originally, they wanted Jet Li for Neo, right? And Jet Li would have been a great choice because he's a martial artist. He's excellent at stage fighting and kung fu. His kung fu movies are awesome. And the character Neo does a lot of really wild wire stunts and kung fu, right? But the Wachowskis and Joel Silver told Jet Li that if he was going to be in the movie, he would have had to consent to let them record and digitize his moves and his techniques, because this would allow them to animate CG versions to do all the weird, wild stuff that happens in the Matrix films. And they would get to hold on to that. That would be their studio property, their studio intellectual content, his digitized moves. And Jet Li was not fucking on board with that. You know, we're talking about someone who made a career off of martial arts films and stunts. His moves were his brand. His moves were his identity. Right? So he backed out. Later, they approached Will Smith. Will Smith was very popular at the time due to Independence Day and some of his other movies. And he was real big into doing the action movies. You know, he had the look and everything. Will Smith turned down The Matrix after being in serious talks to do it. The reason he turned it down is because he didn't want the production to cut Lawrence Fishburne. Because there was this nasty unwritten rule in Hollywood at the time that in casting, whenever you add a black man, you take one out because you couldn't have too many. They had already locked in Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. And bringing in Will Smith meant that more than likely they would have pushed out Lawrence Fishburne and cast him with a white actor. And Will Smith didn't want that to happen. So he turned the movie down. He would go on to make Wild Wild West, which was a movie I enjoyed, but was not nearly as good. That was a corny as hell movie. British enemy Rahul Kohli. Yes, Rahul Kohli was in iZombie. Yeah, that show is a cult hit. Or a movie, sorry. Comic book adaptations. Yeah, I forgot about Rahul Kohli. Yeah, it's hard to... it's hard to get, I admit it, I struggle to think of Indian actors. Oh, Kumail Nanjiani. I remembered. Fuck. Yes, Kumail Nanjiani. Yes, I remember him. He was on The Daily Show. And now he's doing movies and action movies and shit. Kumail Nanjiani. Yes, I remember now. I remembered a third Indian actor. Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani, Aziz Ansari, I know who he is. I used to like Russell Peters. He was pretty funny. He's going on this weird fucking libertarian arc too, though. This fucking anti-woke bullshit. So, generally speaking, with a lot of comedians, you gotta kind of wait for them to disappoint you. Something about stand-up comedy, which I used to dabble in, just fucks with people. Hey, Tyranno Naughty, how long have you been here watching? Good to see you. iZombie is fantastic. No, it's good. It's not bad. iZombie was a decent show. No, that's okay, Overthrow. Yeah, there is a delay. I don't have delay turned on, but I have this crazy ass delay. I think he is. Also, I thought he was good. He was slated to be in a superhero movie that's coming out. Because he talked on social media about how he got really buff, but he was like open about the fact that like the whole buff guy in Hollywood thing is so temporary that like people don't walk around looking like that with 6-pack abs and absolutely shredded. Like he was very open about it. Kumail's pretty funny. I actually like him a lot. He was he was pretty. I believe, yeah. No, he was on the Jon Stewart's Daily Show news team. He was pretty good, along with the great Olivia Munn. So, yeah, that was actually true about The Matrix, and that was a really shitty thing in Hollywood. But it went on that way for a while. You had Will Smith and Denzel Washington, who were pretty much just your Eternals. There it is. Yeah. Will Smith and Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington were pretty much your go-to for a whole host of black roles. And it's still hard to this day for black men to get that kind of footing in Hollywood. Mahershala Ali is getting up there, right? But, you think back. Hey, Cute Bridge, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you all give Cute Bridge a follow and a sub on YouTube and Twitch. Excellent, wholesome content and great fighting game streams and videos. If you want the best, if you want your new best gamer girl crush, go follow Cute Bridge. So, and it was with women too. Is actually even harder for black actresses in Hollywood. Some of the most enduring ones, you had Halle Berry, and you had Vivica A. Fox, right? They were kind of used often. More often than not, though, there was this other problem in all of these movies where we talk about, especially Will Smith films, but in general, if you had a black male actor in a movie that wasn't considered a black movie, usually they had this problem of having them be in a relationship with a black actress. So most often, it would be with Rosario Dawson or Eva Mendes. Think back to Will Smith movies. Think back to Denzel Washington movies. Think back to, hell, just a bunch of movies where, even movies where there's a white lead and they need an actress of color. How often is an actual black actress, and how often is it Rosario Dawson or Eva Mendes? There's a 10-year stretch where it was those two women. I give Chris Rock a lot of credit for trying lots of things. I mean, I liked the documentary Good Hair. Yeah. You need a racially ambiguous actress. Eva Mendes, you can code her as European or you can code her as Hispanic or Latin American or whatever. Holy shit. Thank you for the gifted sub, Nisa Simpson. You are beloved. So, and you'd get the same thing with Rosario Dawson. She was like the safe black actress. And she's younger than Vivica A. Fox, so if they weren't doing Vivica A. Fox, then they would do Rosario Dawson. Have I ever looked into Taoism and anarchism? No, I have not. I'm a little undereducated on Taoism, so I couldn't really speak to it. Okay, somebody brought up Ariana Grande. Here's my issue with Ariana Grande. It's when people try to imply that she's not European as fuck. And there have been multiple singers of, we'll say, mixed heritage, but mostly European, that try to pull off some Hispanic traits to try to lend some ambiguity to their ethnicity. And they all have that same fucking ponytail, that hair pulled back tight in that fucking ponytail. Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, they all have Spanish names. They're all fucking whiter than shit. But they somehow get to pass as being part Hispanic or part Latin American. That shit is gack. I never enjoyed that. I always hated that. Ariana Grande's fucking white. Jesus. Iggy Azalea. No, Iggy Azalea is whiter than shit. She's from fucking Australia. Yeah. And so is Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande and Iggy Azalea are fucking white. They are the whitest cream. Demi Lovato is white. Yeah, they always have that high-ass ponytail. Tell me you won't miss it now. Ariana Grande tans, but she's white. She goes to the tanning bed, but she's still a white woman with a tan. You can't miss that ponytail. Now, you won't unsee it now that I've talked to you about it. Because it's always actresses with that same fucking high-ass tight ponytail. To lend that little bit of ambiguity. Yeah, Ariana Grande is Italian. She's European. Yeah. It is a trend. It's a big trend. Apparently her brother does stuff too. I'm not a fan of hers, but that's just a personal hang-up. I just refuse to like her music out of just being old. And yeah, Demi Lovato is a third-generation immigrant. If you're gonna go there, Spectacular Snyder Man, there are. I don't understand why somebody that lacks range as much as Ariana Grande gets to be so famous. Because her range is shit. And her enunciation in her performances is shit too. Like, all she has is sex appeal and a soprano register. That's what she has. She has sex appeal and she can sing in soprano really well. Can't sing outside of soprano very well at all. Yeah, maybe that's all she needs. But again, she's not talented. She has the benefit, and pop singers don't need to be talented. They just need to have talented producers, y'all. You understand that, right? Anyone, if you're gonna sing on a song produced by fucking Zed, anyone here, any of you in chat, myself included, anybody you find on the street, if you're gonna perform a song produced by Zed, it's gonna sound good, and you're gonna sound talented. Well, you know, it's fabricated, but she's a child actress, so it is what it is. She was Hollywood since she was like 10 years old. She's been in show business a long time. Yeah, take care, Maharuga. Thanks for hanging with us on the stream. I'm kind of talking to chat now. I haven't... Bill H., thank you for the super. Cracking me up, Car. I'm enjoying all the streaming this week. Keep doing good work. Love the channel. Thank you for the love, Bill H. It is very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for the super. Yeah, the MVPs are in the studio, especially in pop music. Everything is carried by the producer in pop. There are exceptions. You know, if we delve into like the R&B realm, I think some people have some above average talent, like John Legend, I think has above average talent. I think Jessie J could have actually benefited from some really good songwriters and producers, because she should have been much bigger than she was, because she actually had fucking pipes. She could sing really, really well, but she kind of just fell by the wayside. I think she did not have good enough producers to benefit from, good enough marketing, or good enough songwriters. But Jessie J was a force of nature. That's not pop, though. Fuse it all day. Expand your audience. Don't sacrifice the craft. It's a cool band called Tub Ring, made up of a bunch of people from production rooms who did their own like high concept sci-fi alt rock music on the side. I will have to check that out. Thank you for the weird music recommendations. I love those. You know, it's a fun game we play now, where basically, Martin Aguiles, I don't listen to much R&B. The short answer, no. It's boring to me. I like rock, metal. I like some electronica. I like a lot of things, but not a lot of R&B hooks me. I like John Legend. The Weeknd, I guess, is more pop, but I like some of his stuff. Not a lot of it hooks me, though. Alt R&B, like Flying Lotus, I love. Yeah. Old school R&B is great. Oh, my goodness. In Vogue? Woo! In Vogue was amazing. Lose Control by In Vogue? Fucking excellent. Carolina Chocolate Drops. What are some of my favorite music groups? Alexander, that's a hard question. It's best if you ask me favorite in a genre. Otherwise, we'll never get anywhere. Ask me my favorite in a certain genre, and we can work from there. "33 songs, you probably didn't know we're covered." Yeah, yep. Yeah, a lot of, yeah, well, I mean, black artists were wholesale stolen from pretty regularly in the 50s and 60s. This is why when I talk to older white people, they always get so weirded out when I tell them how much I hate Elvis Presley. Fucking pedo. Hey, Spectacular Snyder Man. Thank you for the 2-month subs. I appreciate you. Thank you. Flylo is big now. Flylo has transcended the indie scene and properly made his way into the mainstream, and it's excellent. I still remember how much I geeked when I found out that Flying Lotus had his own radio station in Grand Theft Auto. Blew my fucking mind. You know, I want to... I really got to do that. I want to edit that stream wall that I'm using here, because it only sends one emote even if you spam them. I want to be able to spam them. I want people to fucking cover my screen with emotes at a moment's notice. Elvis was a biter. The fucking truck driver who sang in church, and one day they said, hey, you're white. You can sell this black music. Here, come sing all these tracks that Big Mama Thornton and Little Richard wrote. Yeah, no, it's trash. Hey, just a heads up, the people on Twitch are going to see an ad. I apologize, unless you're subbed. But don't leave. It's only 1 minute. Okay. Any artists I like that are like Flylo? Flying Lotus does alternative R&B. There's this chick from the East Coast that I actually saw open for Flying Lotus when I saw him live. I know I'm bragging. I saw Flying Lotus's 3D show. It was amazing. And her name was Salami, and she was excellent. She just played a keyboard on stage, and it was really, really good. I liked her energy. I liked everything about her, and I loved her music. It was great. What types of metal am I into? Bill H., thank you for asking me a genre-related question. Glad you asked. I do like some death metal. I like old school Through the Eyes of the Dead. Right? So, By the Fury of Our Maker was a good album, and Malice was another one, and Bloodlust was another good one. So I like the old school death metal Through the Eyes of the Dead. 2 Inches from a Main Artery. Excellent song. Can't sing it on here. Very TOS. Getting away from that, some people have described Lamb of God as groove metal. I don't know if I agree with that, but I do love Lamb of God. Huge Lamb of God fan. I actually am also a lifelong Slipknot fan. Don't at me. I will love everything that they do. What else? I like Trivium. I like Killswitch Engage. I have a soft spot for metalcore. I like Avenged Sevenfold. I grew up with Avenged Sevenfold. I was one of their biggest supporters in the early days. As in, I literally, thanks for the follow. This is Simon. All the way back, like with their first studio album on MySpace, I was watching Avenged Sevenfold. Yes, Hebe, I like Mindless Self-Indulgence, but yes, we're uncomfortable. I am made uncomfortable by how poorly their music has aged. Their pretty rampant usage of slurs, all kinds of slurs, neurodivergent slurs, racial slurs, sexual orientation slurs. They use a lot. Sorry, I'm going over what people have said, so I think I missed one. Kitty, Nisa Simpson. How do I feel about Kitty? I feel I liked Kitty in my teenage edgy phase, but I question how good they actually are now that I'm an adult. Sorry. Jennifer loves Screw It. Yeah. MSI, while Jimmy Urine has toned it down a bit, Shut Me Up still holds up. That whole album, You'll Rebel to Anything, fucking holds up amazingly. Jimmy Urines toned it down a little bit, but yes, it's kind of hard to listen to him. We talked in chat once about how similarly with a band I used to listen to, a new metal band called Head PE that I listened to. Yes, I am from the Midwest, Martin Aguilas. That's why I also like Mushroom Head and Gojira. Jennifer Love, screw it. I will not mansplain to you if you bring up subgenres. All right. So metal. We were talking about metal. I do like some of the older thrash metal as well. I can rock out to some of the old Metallica. I love Exodus and Testament. I love certain albums by Anthrax. And I like Iron Maiden. I saw Iron Maiden a couple years back, actually. It was an excellent show. Bruce Dickinson. May he live 1,000 years. Yes, I'm very Midwest with my music taste. Listen, you want to know how Midwest I am? It physically pained me to have to watch the band Trapped, specifically their lead singer, but really the whole band, just completely torpedo all of their goodwill that they had made. Like, Trapped. I actually liked Trapped. That was the music of my junior high years, of my mid-teens. You know, back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. Oh, yeah. And yet, I can't listen to them because their lead singer, who lives here in Ohio, is off his fucking rocker. And they play concerts for Proud Boys. Godsmack? Godsmack's great. Overthrow. Godsmack is great. I used to bump a lot of music secretly, but I just gave up on trying to appease people that thought I should only listen to one style of music. Eurovision and Varg. Naruto Trapped AMVs. Yeah, that was a thing. Not familiar with plenty. I used to be very, very opinionated with my music tastes, right? So I was a purist, and for instance, one of my favorite Scandinavian bands is Nightwish. One of my favorite Scandinavian bands was Nightwish, and they kicked Tarja Turunen out of the band. And I love melodic metal. We're getting there. Don't worry. Oh my God. Rest in peace, Alexi Laiho. Children of Bodom. Mellow death metal. Excellent. But they kicked Tarja Turunen out of Nightwish. And I just refused to hear anything that the new singer, Annette, or whatever, had to say about anything. I think it was horseshit how they kicked her out. And it's upsetting to me because Nightwish was legit. I love melodic death metal, so Dimmu Borgir, Children of Bodom. I saw someone else ask. System of a Down is one of my favorite bands of all time. Armenian nu metal. It's excellent. And they are currently trying to get over their differences and work on an album, but it seems like those guys are having a lot of difficulties doing that. Serge Tankian. Well, Darren Malakian is too. If you listen to like what Darren Malakian and Serge Tankian have to say, you'll see, yeah, no, they're left-leaning. It was either their drummer or their bassist that's kind of shit. Finding out people, places you loved in youth are racist and not sorry about it. Yeah, it sucks. Well, imagine me. You all know, like, you can hear... It was the drummer. Yeah, the bassist is the art guy. Yeah, okay, so you can hear, like, even with my background music, I'm into electronic music. I make electronic music. I grew up with electronic music, listening to people like Paul Oakenfold, DJ Tiesto, Darude, Chemical Brothers, The Prodigy, all of that shit. Anything electronic, anything to dance to, I was into, right? And so I can say that people like Oakenfold and even, well, some older bands, if we're talking about older groups, Depeche Mode, Kraftwerk, Wendy Carlos, people like that were an inspiration from the older era, Gary Newman. But if we're talking about the, the modern era in my lifetime, oh my God, people like Moby was a huge inspiration to me, really was. And you have to find out that Moby is a huge piece of shit now. Like, why? Why does every musical inspiration I had growing up have to turn out to be a huge piece of shit, or have to be found dead after they TOS'd themselves or overdose? I grew up listening to and loving Linkin Park, and Chester Bennington is gone. I grew up listening to and loving Soundgarden. Chris Cornell is gone. I grew up loving and listening to Stone Temple Pilots. Scott Weiland is gone. I grew up listening to Alice in Chains. Okay, fucking Lane Staley is gone. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is in Cleveland, Ohio. Holy fucking shit! Ah! Hey, Raiders! How's it going, Raiders? Is this a Thought Slime raid? Hebe, yes, the Garbage album. I like that. Holy shit, it's a raid. Welcome, Thought Slime viewers. Welcome to my Twitch. I appreciate you all. I hope TS had an excellent birthday stream. I hope it was a fun stream. Thought Slime, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. I think I'm older than you, so I can speak condescendingly and say happy birthday, young sport. What are you, like 25 now or something? So those of you just joining us here in chat, we spent a little time talking about white folks mauling over casting choices, something very, very important to get mad about, in Disney movies. Oh no, I'm not older than you. I just look it. Yeah, you got me by a couple years, Thought Slime. That's something. I didn't expect that. Yeah, so we were just talking about white people mauling over non-white casting choices. And then I got derailed on a tangent talking about musical genres. But how they announced that a Latin American actress is going to be portraying Snow White, and they just lost their shit. And I love it. Their racist white tears give me power. They give me strength. Also, I thought, are we not using the term mauling anymore? I first entered the poison sphere of one-line leftism, and everybody used the term mauling. Have we already moved on from it? My kid told me today that people don't even say based anymore, acting like I'm some kind of old fogey because I use the term based. We still say based, right? I'm based. Car is based. Thought Slime is based. Happy birthday, Thought Slime. Thank you for the raid. I really appreciate you. I hope you had a great stream, and I hope you and I hope you're enjoying your birthday. I hope you won your game. Hope you were winning. Hope you were winning. Thank you for all the follows, people. I'll get to your names here in a second. I'll do them rapid fire. I love calling out people who follow me. They're like, oh yeah, Snow White's supposed to be white because of that. First of all, they did not pick a dark-skinned actress. She is exceptionally fair-skinned. And she actually has long black hair, just as the previous Disney portrayal of the character. Why are they mad? Why are they fucking mad? I don't understand it. Oh my goodness, so many people in chat, so many follows. Jesus. Hey, listen, thank you all for jumping in here. I really do appreciate it. I guess I'll have to talk about something valid since you all are here. So perhaps we can yes. I'll have to talk about something valid since I have so many people here and not just bullshit about musical genres anymore. We're going to talk about critical race theory. Disney ruined Snow White because of critical race theory. Yes. Yes, Spectacular Schneider Man. Yes, we're going to talk theory. Let's fucking go. I was going to take a break, but fuck it. All right, so here's the problem with the conversation. Here's the problem with the conversation on CRT, right? And all this CRT talk, I went to broadcasting school and learned how to repair broadcasting equipment. So my brain clicks when people say CRT. The first thing I think of is cathode ray tubes. I'm like, oh shit, are we starting a fandom movement of old school televisions? We're going to play some fighting games with no latency? Let's fucking go. Cathode ray tubes are the shit, right? That's what I think when I hear CRT. But, Smash player. I am called out. I am a Smash player. Yes, CRT, exactly. Cathode ray tubes are based. They are poggers. They are most awesome. They are lit. They are fleek. Yeah. But unfortunately, we're not talking about cathode ray tubes. We are actually talking about critical race theory. So the biggest problem with the current discourse on it, and if you're engaging with someone talking about CRT and going off on one of the rants, the very first thing you need to do is deconstruct their framing of the argument, their framing of the subject, right? Let me change the discussion subject first. Let me change the discussion subject here so people who are jumping in know what the hell we're talking about. And I'll make sure to have this as inflammatory as a subject headline as I can. As inflammatory as possible. Right. So what we need to do whenever you hear somebody going off about CRT, going off about critical race theory, is you need to deconstruct the framework they're operating from, because most likely they're operating from a lie. They're saying, oh, critical race theory is being pushed in our grade schools, it's being pushed in educational institutions, da, 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 da. Critical race theory is a legal theory. It's a legal framing, right? To describe these sorts of phrases as thought-terminating cliche. Yeah. Right. So the issue is, this is a legal theory. This is a legal subject. This is not being taught outside of law school. And it's not being implemented after being distilled from its study in an academic law environment. It's being distilled from that into programs designed to address systemic bias and then being disseminated to federal institutions staffed by educated adults, right? It's not it's not a curricular program. Yeah. It's not a, hey, Ike, welcome back. We've come full circle and you are back with us, Ike. I love it. Right? So it's not a curriculum. It's not a curriculum. It hasn't been, it is older than people think it is, but it hasn't been pushed on young students or anything like that. They're operating off of a lie. And the CRT is just their new boogeyman. This is why I make sure to always remind your gullible centrists, or even maybe some leftists, who say that, oh, the phrasing matters, the words you use matter. Oh, maybe Black Lives Matter isn't a good phrase. It doesn't fucking matter what phrase. We use a term or a phrase as clinical as critical race theory, which is not an offensive phrase, but they demonized it anyway. They make it into this racial justice boogeyman. Right now, I'm watching politicians on the TV screen talk about how they're literally preaching a hate of one's own whiteness through CRT. What? And I assure you, none of these people have read a critical race theory document. They're preaching a hate of the United States. And I'm going to make a point about that here in a second, why that's also not true. Despite it pointing out the flaws of the founding and the present day of the United States, it is not preaching hate in the United States, right? So they're operating off of lies. In the UK, the whole Brexit nonsense was built off of fucking lies. All the Brexit shit, lies. They drove around the country with a bus with a lie printed on the side of it. And CRT right now is this lie that they plastered across a banner. It's this exaggerated evil that they are crusading around, that they have to create as a villain to turn around and fight. Because Republicans and conservatives need their base to be scared. Conservatives don't function unless there is fear in their ranks. Leftists work off of hope and a desire to push for systemic change. We work off of a dream for the future. Conservatives work off of a love and Conservatives work off of an idyllic and idealized past and a fear of the future. They have to have a fearful demon to turn their mobs against, because that's how you keep the people from looking up at the systems that are actually kicking them down. You have to have that demon, that monster, that bad guy. That bad guy can be Antifa, that bad guy can be BLM, that bad guy can be spooky, scary socialists, that bad guy can be universal health care, or that bad guy can be critical race theory. Even if none of this makes sense, they will find a way to demonize it. That's why I say the phrasing doesn't matter. It does not matter what we call things on the left. They will demonize it regardless. We literally have people who perform anti-fascist action, and we call that act Antifa. Nobody should be against anti-fascist action, and yet they are demonized every night on the news. And that is, show me on the doll where the critical race theory touched you. So I don't need to even I was going to pull up like some pictures or whatnot, but I don't really need that to explain my point. The fact of the matter is, they're operating off of a lie, first and foremost. Critical race theory is a legal framework. It's something discussed among legal academia. All right, this involves historians, economists, lawyers, and researchers who actually do the diligence and the footwork, do the due diligence and the research footwork to actually understand the effects of systemic racism, past, present, and future, and then what we can do to address things like biases, what we can do to address things like the effects of redlining, what we can do to address things like restrictive covenants, what we can do to address things like biases in policing. That's all it is. It's trying to make a more egalitarian and more equitable world for everybody. It is not racially motivated, okay? It's motivated by equality, and it should be nonpartisan. But the problem is, conservative parties have now aligned themselves according to their relationship with the plight of minorities and marginalized people. You would think rights for trans people, same-sex couples to adopt, things like that would not be a partisan issue. It would be an issue discussing the freedom of people who live here. But they've made it a partisan issue because the partisan groups oppose the existence of those people, just as they oppose the empowerment of black communities in the United States. Right, so sorry, for those of you who are new viewers of my stream, first of all, thank you all for all of the follows. I really do appreciate it. those of you who have stuck around. I just want to disclaimer and say I do have pretty severe unmedicated ADHD, or ADD, so sometimes I have to stop and collect my thoughts so I don't say nonsense, right? Just to recenter my focus. But listen, I see some questions in chat here, so I want to address them. So some people addressing me in chat here. So, do I try to be nonpartisan? It's kind of hard to be, and I don't mean party politics. I mean my political ideology. No, I'm not nonpartisan. I want my side to win. I'm going to do what it takes to make my side win, Uncle Ruxus. Yep, they use every scare tactic they can. They've turned socialism into a scare word. They've turned BLM into a scare word. They've turned Antifa into a scare word. And yet here's the thing, all the while, they're somehow trying to make the word nationalism friendlier. They're trying to defang nationalism, but make socialism sound so scary. And that's because they don't want people to be afraid of the term nationalism, because that's what they're fucking doing. They are nationalists. So many of them are white nationalists. And they don't want people to be scared of nationalism. They want them to be scared of socialism. Right? They want them to be scared of empowered black people. They want them to be scared of anti-fascist actors. So, conservatives, Bon Winter, conservatives like to defund education and create propaganda through education. You know, that's their modus operandi. That's just what they do. They don't need an educated populace. They need a scared populace. You probably recognize that, though. I don't want to mansplain to you. Spooky, scary socialists. Google Bookchin. Wow, that's a name. Is the use of the term wage slavery offensive? No, slavery is Frederick Douglass used the term. You are correct. Also, wage slavery, we can differentiate between wage slavery and chattel slavery, right? So I don't consider it a racially charged term. I think it's very apt for what it is. You are locked into this unjust hierarchy of employer and employee. Wage slavery is very real. So I think it's a very legit term to use. Please Google Murray Bookchin. Is that still a meme, telling people to Google Bookchin? Listen, hot take incoming, but I tend to defer to non-white philosophers and publishers of theory before I go to the old dead white dudes. So I will tell you to Google Kumboa Irving or Frantz Fanon. I will see your Murray Bookchin and raise you Frantz Fanon and Kumboa Irving and Ibram X. Kendi. Ike Solis, question. What do I think we can do to overcome the demonization by the right wing? Do we fight in the optics war to show our ideas are better, or is it futile? Well, a lot of that goes into how should I put this? I talk a lot about meeting people where they are. So the best thing you can do is explain where you're actually coming from and take the opportunity to show them the truth about these buzzwords that have become scare tactics. They're going to push back initially. You see it in all different kinds of reactionary and anti-intellectual movements. Same thing with vaccines. I have people in my family that are anti-vaxxers, and it's like beating your head against a brick wall, except that's slightly more productive because you might get through the brick wall before you pass out, whereas you're never going to get through to the anti-vaxxer. But Lorenzo Kumboa Irving and Frantz Fanon, right? So you got to try to talk to them where they are and reach out to them. I like building bridges and extending olive branches. So what I take my experience of working as a salesman and a broadcaster, because I have that experience in my background, and I try to use that when I reach out to people. So when I talk about reaching out to people in your community or reaching out to people you interact with, and I know, Ike, you do a lot of the heavy lifting of talking to people who aren't necessarily leftists to begin with. So you have to overcome a lot of their ideas. I would say, Ike, find their pain point. This is common in sales. You find the thing that's a raw nerve for somebody, right? You find that thing that's not right in their life, and that's you're in to explain to them the real cause of their oppression, which is most likely capitalism or adjacent to capitalism, or white supremacy. Should reclaim it. Swastika used to mean peace. It did. I thought it was a Hindu symbol, but I'm not going to reclaim a swastika. I prefer the Eye of Horus, personally. But that's a different conversation for another day. Thank you, Tomodorio, for looking up to car_YZ. I appreciate that. I am going to type those names in chat. Oh, Arukjazan, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing the Wikipedia for Lorenzo Gamboa Irvin. And Franz Fanon, his name is spelled Franz Fanon. Black Mask, White Faces, and Wretched of the Earth, 2 fucking incredible reads. Now, Ike Solis, the focus on explaining, don't necessarily plan on focusing on explaining, because I will give credit to Ronald Reagan for saying one thing and getting it right. He said, if you're explaining, you're losing. So it's hard to... Nisa Simpson, thank you for the gifted sub to Tomodorio. Much appreciated. Depending on the type of conversation you're having, it's easy to lose somebody if you're stuck explaining every single buzzword that they throw at you, because if they've been indoctrinated by people like Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder, these people are fast liars. And what I mean by fast liars is they're able to say a bunch of incorrect bullshit really quickly, but it's things that is faster to say than it is to explain. So if somebody, for instance, pulls a 1350 on you, it's easy for them to say in one sentence 1350, right? But it takes you 5 minutes to 10 minutes to explain. It takes you 5 to 10 minutes to explain why 1350 is wrong. That's why they gish gallop, to keep you reacting. Very true, Canadian Brunch. Very, very true. So be careful with your explaining. If they're acting in good faith, they're hopefully not going to gish gallop you, and this is someone that you at least have enough of an in that you can try to work through that pain point and do a little bit of explaining. If you're talking to your Crowder and Shapiro fans, they may not necessarily be acting in good faith. They're just going to be throwing things at you to end the conversation. They're not actually trying to make any progress. They're trying to shut down the conversation. People throwing out 1350s is shutting down the conversation. They don't want you to explore that. They want you to shut up about trying to liberate black people in the United States. So that's what you have to watch out for, and that's what you have to circumvent. I'm trying to come up with my own catchphrases and buzzwords to combat these. 40% of cops, type that into Google. I like that one. Or I've been trying to push 22.4. 22% of all inmates are held in America, despite having only 4% of the world population. That's 22.4. I really should get that put on shirts. Yeah, you do. You can set limits, but I thought you were the one, after our great conversation, you were one of the ones who were putting in the energy to reach across the ideological lines. Yep. Voldranai, I cannot agree more with your statement. They are not dumb, but they are speaking a different language. You have to speak to what it is that they want and where they are. I'm not one of those who believe that you can speak to everybody using the same terminology and language. I've seen Peter Coffin make some of those takes. I do not agree with them. I think that you will lose some people if you launch in with words like proletariat and bourgeoisie and shit like that. I like those terms, but it's not going to resonate with everybody. Some people, that's not part of their lexicon. And so, hey, thank you for the biddies, Amanda Panda Sensei. Love the 4 bits. Show love, show love. You like to see it on the channel? Thank you for the bits. Language does adapt for a reason. Tomo Show, thank you for the subscribe. So, those of you who have joined us, if you happen to pop in, and thanks for the follow. If you happen to be able to open a second tab, some of you are watching me on Twitch. It would be really cool. Really, really cool if you opened a second tab and went over to Car on YouTube and clicked that subscribe button. That costs you nothing. The majority of my work is on YouTube. I really only do the live stuff on Twitch a lot less frequently. But if you want to get into my scripted content, yes, link. Very smart. Very, very smart. The only person actually thinking. So I will shoot a link out here. I don't have my mod with me, unfortunately. This should get you there. And Twitch. It'll get you there in Twitch and YouTube chat. I'll throw it in there as well. Thank you, Ike. I do appreciate that. You know, don't feed the trolls. That's something I learned back in the 90s on the internet, because I feel like I've been using the internet. Yes, thank you, Nisa. Watch the videos. I feel like I've been using the internet a little bit longer than some of you have been alive. But yeah, back in the 90s, I learned firsthand, do not feed the trolls. Do not feed the trolls. Hey, we're going to take a quick minute to have a little bit of fun and go back through this list. And to the raid, I want to thank everybody who followed me on Twitch, right? Azure Orchid, thank you for the follow. Chair Kicker, Night Monkey, Delru, Rick Pat 124, Sweet John 123, Laced with Poison, Naked Crab, Tom Wade, SSJ, 3 Matanks. All thank you for the follow. Sassy Cat Slaps, Vulgranai, Audrey Steen, Don't Worry I Can Do It, Tomadorio, Space Mermaid in Space, Sapphic Lily, thank you for the follows, everybody. Fuzzy Numbers, The Good Morty, Bon Winter, JJ416, Arukazan, JoJack12, Lego 2x4, thank you for the follows. Magic City Murals, Seaboud, The Gamer Guy, Jade Willow, Harpy Shrieks, Look Uppy PJ, Dumbcant, Voxtonic, Bex, Onion of Katarina, Chiahe, Poofy Plasma, Quack That's Macchio, thank you for the follows. Super Destructo 2, Fish Missile, Amanda Panda Sensei, Ikuna, Word Bender, Kratom for Sorry, that sent me. Kratom for Grandpa. Thank you for the follow. Used to work at Lowe's, Tomadorio, and go and rants about capitalism without outright saying the problem is capitalism. They would always agree. Yeah, you know, I worked with a guy at a casino who was an ex-cop, and he used to be a big Tucker Carlson, Fox News, thin blue line fucking dude. And after January 6th riot, I come into work, he is pissed that night. I come into work, and he's like, this is such bullshit. He's like, we did not ask for this. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about the stuff at the Capitol? I'm like, you want to talk about that, buddy? How's that make you feel? He's like, Trump is fucking deranged. I'm like, I feel like I said that to you a while ago. Sometimes you can find that and it takes a little time. It took me 4 years of working with this guy. Ike Solis, Thank you for the sub. I really do appreciate it. I really, really do appreciate it. I should really try to turn down these. Hope these notifications aren't too loud. Mumford & Son broke up. Hey, Hebe. Mumford & Son, the singer was kind of a piece of shit for a long time. Like, he years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, he got in a lot of trouble for dropping N-bombs. Like, Mumford & Sons have been shit for a while. And I don't know if it's the lead singer or someone else. But, yeah, no, the banjo player, whomever. Also, fuck Mumford & Sons. I don't like their music. I'm sorry. That's gentrified white people shit. It's not even real folk music or real bluegrass. It's weak, tame-ass bluegrass. It's gentrified fucking bluegrass. It's garbage. It's fucking garbage. You want good bluegrass? Listen to Gretchen Wilson. Listen to Sister Hazel. That's real fucking bluegrass that'll put some goddamn hair on your chest. Vulture Fred Durst has always been kind of iffy, but I actually like Limp Bizkit, unironically. And he's actually gotten a lot more tame over the years. Fred Durst has changed his ways up quite a bit over the years. Yeah, Nisa Simpson, you are a redneck woman. 1 out of 4 people in prison in the world are behind bars in the land of the free. Very true. I'm sorry. I will shit on Mumford & Sons. Yes, it's the music you hear before your rent goes up. Magos Informaticus, Canadian Brunch, Robin of Moxley. I'm sorry. I love funny names. I really do. Harley Ellis. Thank you for following me on Twitch, folks. And everybody, thank you for the subs on YouTube as well. Yeah, Mumford & Sons is trash. Absolute trash. So, look. Oh, Hebe, don't get me started on Insane Clown Posse. Right? Because I am also a juggalo. I'll tell you all about Insane Clown Posse. I'm in Ohio. Of course I'm a juggalo. So, Insane Clown Posse has been based the whole time. So, I'll get to the subject matter of their music in a minute. But back in the fucking early 90s, they were burning rebel flags on stage. And they literally had a song called Fuck Your Rebel Flag. Also, they had a song called Chicken Huntin'. Who's going chicken hunting? Right? Chickens, in the context of the song, refers to backwoods Klansmen. And so that was their song, was about hunting down racist hicks. Right? So then they supported Faygo because it was a small Jewish company at the time. That's why they chose to support it. Also, Shaggy 2 Dope has a kid who is like an avid furry, and he supported her through and through, and even got his own custom fursuit made and goes to cons with her, and doesn't make a big stink about it or anything. He just goes there and supports her in costume. Now, let's talk about their subject matter. If you listen to the original Joker cards, the first group of Joker card albums, really you only need listen to one, The Great Malenko. The Great Malenko is a hellish figure, kind of portraying someone who carries out the punishments for evil in the Dark Carnival, as they pass through the Hall of Illusions. The song Hall of Illusions talks about this. And basically, on the album The Great Malenko, they describe how these horrible people like child abusers, hedge fund managers, just terrible human beings get punished severely in the Halls of Illusions. Oh yes, there's lore. Of course there's lore. There's a shitload of lore. There's Hell's Pit. There's the Wraith. There's Hell's Pit. There's the Riddle Box, Great Malenko, the Jekyll Brothers, I could go on. This goes on for a long fucking time. The point being is that in a lot of their songs, it's always evil people getting punished and dying in really horrible ways. Very, very based. Very, very based. And if you hang out, if you hang out at one of their events, at one of their live shows, it is wild. Yeah, no, listen. They're not perfect, Curtis Healy. But if you hang out at one, I'm mainly addressing their fan base. I'll get to their business practices. If you go to one of their shows, if you go to one of their shows, you will find there is a familial atmosphere amongst all of their fans, and they're actually madly supportive. Yes, their fans also are known to be pretty big into drug culture, and their fans tend to have a very we'll say masochistic way of going about things, but nonetheless, yeah, Curtis Healy, I actually do strongly disagree with a lot of their business practices, and a whole lot of those business practices are the result of Violent J. Yes, ICP are millionaires, and Violent J has done a lot of shit. Violent J and Jump Steady have done a lot of shit that I really don't agree with, and that's in small part why Twisted left Psychopathic Records and took a number of artists with them over to Magic Ninja Entertainment, which is also very based. And there's a number of really great artists over on Magic Ninja Entertainment. But yes, workers should be paid. Yeah, they fight Klansmen and MAGA idiots. I didn't juggaloism. Have been to at least half a dozen. Instead of being an edgy libertarian as a young white teen, I didn't juggaloism. I did juggalism. Okay, gotcha. Sided with Twisted. I'm not going to go into that particular war. I don't believe that Violent J is in the right. And I put a lot of this squarely on his shoulders. Sadly. But honestly, the decision was made by both of them. They both own the business. Jump Steady supported them. So. But to go back to the subject in the headline of my overlay here, do you feel now that you can at least address some of these arguments people are having with CRT? I try to bring everything home with a call to action, because at the end of the day, if I don't, I'm just some jackass ranting on the internet. I think I'm gonna do one nice little swig or shot. Yeah, anybody killer left? Oh, I know all this, Curtis Healy. I'm not saying they're perfect. So, Hendrix Dry Gin. Excellent. This is a limited edition flavor called Orbium with wormwood extract and lotus blossom flavor. And it is delicious. So, yep, Dresden Dolls, that's another one. So, pay your artists, people. That's all I'm going to say. On this critical race theory thing, the best thing I can tell you is you need to find who will listen to you and try to counter the lie that this is built off of. Yeah, Curtis Healy, I was drinking seltzers all night. I'm ending things with this. So I am going to wrap it up here. But let me get a send-off to everybody here. No, it doesn't. This particular one doesn't taste like absinthe, Bonwinter. It has a light wormwood note. It's the Thujone and absinthe that gives it that real phenol-y flavor, but absinthe is made from different botanicals. Again, yeah, Dresden Dolls, some problematic moments. Listen, folks, I thank all of you for coming and hanging out with me this evening, especially all of you Raiders from Thought Slime. If you're watching on Twitch, I would love it if you would give me a follow. I would also love it if you would head over to YouTube. I can be found by Kar, K-A-R, on YouTube. I believe I still have the link here. Yep, there it is. And please give me a sub. The majority of my content goes through YouTube. I am also on Facebook as well. You hear some music in the background here. That is all original music I make for myself. Every single video that I release has an original background song made by yours truly. And if you're interested in the tracks, full versions of the tracks are available to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members. So if you're able, that's a great way to support. So we're going to do a raid. Let's see if we can raid a few people in. I want to see who I've got online. Obscure Cure. Let me see who's online. I want to see who's online. If anyone even is online. It's 1 a.m. where I'm at. I heard Obscure Curio. I don't have anyone else on my follow list that's online. So, looks like who's Obscure Curio? Tell me what kind of channel they have. Obscure Solidary. I'm having trouble finding their channel. Is Obscure Curio live, Uncle Ruxus? Because I am not finding them. Let me see. Let's see who else is on. Okay, so we are going to try and raid Lost Sioux. We're going to try to raid Lost Sioux. They're a radical indigenous leftist, Dakota Nation. They're a POW from the Indian Wars. Excellent channel. We're going to support them. All right, so hang with me, folks. Don't leave. All right, folks. I'm going to play us out.